Hello everybody and welcome back to Operation Logistics, where two things. One, I forgot to turn on music, so give me 1 second here. And yeah, go away VLC, I know there's an update, that's fine. There we go. Now we have music. And secondly, I am recording this on the 2nd, and this goes live on the 5th. I am less procrastinating-y than normal today. That's not a word, but that's irrelevant. Let's just go ahead and do this. So, my notes here say that we need to implement purchasing, storing, and transferring of vehicles. So, first things first, I am noticing that we have, in our hex selection window, we have ourselves all of our vehicle slots in. We should remove those for right now. And also, deactivate the hex selection window. It is properly updating now, so that's good. But the second thing that we need to do is we need to implement a vehicle script very similar to this one. Except that basically it will always register itself with minute tickers. That's just going to be a thing. Okay, so let's go ahead and in the core, I believe, is where we did building. Yep, actually we do already have a vehicle. And it's got public vehicle type. And I think we're just going to go ahead and... I mean, we're not going to be changing the type the way we did the building. So I think what we're just going to do is... This is a non-mono behavior. So in the constructor, we're going to go ahead and do something along the lines of this. Public time manager. We're going to need one of those. And then we're going to do, like we did in the building, we're going to have ourselves basically this copied straight on in. Okay. And we don't need to do ticks on minute. And I don't think there's actually anything in the base that we want to do. So just something kind of along the lines of that. And now we've got this problem again. Because it's a vehicle, or because it's a building and it needs to be a vehicle. There we go. That'll solve that. Now this is hiding time-aware object non-mb.manager, and I think we can get rid of that because that's just in the default class. Yeah, that seems good. Okay, so public vehicle type. Public vehicle, time manager. And then the question is, do we want to have a get set for the balance? Maybe we do. Let's do it. So we're going to do a public balance, or rather public building balance, and then this is in the building, of course. So we're going to go ahead and do a get, and then return manager.business.balance.get building balance from type. Just like that. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to copy that over to the vehicle. And then this is going to be public vehicle balance. And this is going to be get vehicle balance from type. And there we go. Easy enough. Now, as far as the vehicle goes, we should probably go ahead and get ourselves these on ticks. But they're all going to be empty. I'm just going to copy these. And we're going to paste those on in. And for right now, vehicles aren't going to do anything at all. We can just go ahead and get rid of all of that. Perfect. Okay. So that seems to be vehicles implemented there. Now, do we have a list of stored vehicles? We don't... Well, we kind of do. Public list vehicles. I think I'm going to get rid of that. And we're going to have, we've got our vehicle capacity and our vehicle capacity modifier. That seems fine. I feel like vehicle capacity needs a set. So let's go ahead and put that in. So vehicle capacity would then equal value. So we can set it like a regular variable, but when we get it, it automatically includes the capacity modifier. Okay. There we go. And rather than doing vehicle storage here, what we're going to do is we're going to do a public list of vehicle. And this is going to be vehicle storage. Now that's probably going to create an error, right? Yep, that's exactly what I expected. All we got to do is add in a dot count. There we go. Perfect. So the building can now store an unlimited number of vehicles-ish. We're just going to need to be able to toss in, well, we're going to need to create a new building and then toss it in from a slot. So the question then is, how are we going to go about doing that? So let's go ahead and turn this back on for temporary purposes. And we're going to repopulate this, actually. Again, temporarily. So we're going to put in vehicle slots. And we're going to put in 12 of them. And here's the question that I have. What is supposed to happen when you click on this? Well, it's a good question, isn't it? I think I want to change this to just read empty. Like so. That makes a little bit more sense. We are indicating that this is a delivery vehicle here. Okay, now the next thing we might want to have is a public string vehicle name. Like so. Okay. Do we need this to be in an overarching list of vehicles? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Probably not, is what I'm thinking right now. So, what we could end up doing, very easily, is in the hex selection window, we could implement something along the lines of public void on select vehicle slot int slot, something along the lines of that. Now, the main problem here is that these get auto-spawned, and we would need to put in the listener. I mean, we could do that. That's not the end of the world. So in our vehicle slots, we do have a list of game objects, so we could very easily do something along the lines of this. So we would move the instantiation out here, and we would say game object go equals instantiate that, and then we would add in go. So that does the same thing, just spread over 2 lines. But now, before we do this, we can modify this a little bit. So we could say button equals go dot get component button. And then with that, we could do an add listener. So we could do something along the lines of button dot add. Wait, hang on. Where is this? Dot listeners? Nope, that's dot light. What was it? Button dot on click. Yeah, that's what we need. On click dot add listener. And then this would be a call to on select vehicle slot. And then we'd pass in the integer, which would be vehicle slots dot count. Kind of like that. Now, that's not a Unity action, obviously. So new Unity action, I believe, is all we have to do for that. Maybe? There is no Unity action. Okay, I gotta look that up real quick. Unity button add listener. How to pass parameter. Perfect. Oh, it's just a delegate? Okay. Easy enough. So we just do a delegate and pass in something along the lines of that. And we actually do need a closing parenthesis there. And another one? Hang on, we don't need a closing parenthesis there. This is freaking out about... Because we need a semicolon. Yes, there we go. Perfect. Okay, so now that will add that in, and it bears noting that this is added in before we add this to the list. So the list will be at 0, so this will start at 0, it'll be 0 indexed. So the very first one will be 0, the last one will be 11. That's something we'll need to figure. So, when we are selecting our vehicle slot, then we need to run a little bit of a check here. So, first things first, let's figure out if we have enough vehicles in this building. And to do that, let's add in a handy little thing here. Public building, and this will be the selected building. Selected building. And then this will just be a get. And all we're going to get is this line of code. Except instead of building equals that, it's just simply return. Just like that. So that will automatically get all of this, our selected building. And then we can get rid of this and just use selected building in that spot. So I'm actually going to say building equals selected building because I don't want to do that every time we call this. It's still a little bit easier to get that, but it's fine. Okay, so where was I? I was implementing on select vehicle slot. First thing we need to do is say building equals selected building, because again, I don't want to run through that big old line of code every single time. I want to just cache this. I think that'll be slightly faster. Not a huge amount, but slightly faster. So when we select the vehicle slot, we should immediately check to see if, because keep in mind, say we have a vehicle in these 3 slots, but the rest are empty. If we click this one, I want to select that vehicle. I don't necessarily want to create a new vehicle every time. So we need to check to see. So this one would be 0, this one would be 1, this one would be 2, and we'd have 3 total vehicles there. So we need to check to see if building dot vehicle storage dot count is less than slot. Let me just double check that here. So hypothetically, we still have these 3 stored and the rest are empty. We click on this one. This one returns 2. So it would be 0, 1, 2. And it's 3, it's less than... I think it needs to be less than or equal to slot. So if it's less than or equal to slot, 0, 1, 2. Yeah. Then we select a vehicle. For right now, we're not going to implement that just yet. Otherwise, purchase vehicle with pop-up confirmation. Probably with pop-up confirmation. So, we do have the confirmation window here already. And that's currently set up exclusively for something. I think it's just for for buying land right now. Let's see, confirmation window dot on press yes button and confirmation window dot on press no button. That's actually genericized. Let's double check what those do. Okay, yeah, this is hard-coded for assuming that you're going to purchase a building. Okay. Good to know. For right now, we'll not pop the confirmation window. We can always come back and do that sort of thing later on when we are doing polishing. So let's go ahead and purchase a vehicle, and it will go... Will it go into... Okay, let me just demonstrate this here. So, once again, we have this set up here. These three are hypothetically filled. The rest of these are empty. Say you click on this button. Should this one get filled? Or should this one get filled? I think it should fill this one. But it shouldn't matter which button you click on. So we would purchase the vehicle. And it would be the vehicle type. So we would need to put in the vehicle type. We would need a new vehicle. So vehicle equals new vehicle. And we need to pass in the time manager. Does the hex selection window know about the time manager? It knows about the hex manager. Does the hex manager know about the time manager? Well, it knows about the business. Business is time aware. So new vehicle business.timemanager. Hang on. What did I call it? It should be there in business. It's a time aware object, so I think it's just that it's private. We'll make it public. I think there's no real reason not to. Okay, so then business.timemanager, or just business.manager. There we go. So we create ourselves a new vehicle, and then we say vehicle.type equals building.vehicle storage type. So we buy the same type of vehicle as the building can store. That's a pretty obvious thing. And then we need to go in and deduct our funds from the business. So let's go ahead and say business.current funds minus equals vehicle.balance.vehicle cost. Okay? And then I think all we need to do is add the vehicle to the building's list of stored vehicles. So building dot vehicle storage dot add vehicle, and then we just call on enable manually, and that will automatically redo our building slots and all that. Right? Right. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is we need to change the text on this. Right? Because we need to make sure that the text here actually indicates that there's a vehicle there. So we need to check to see balance.vehicle capacity. Oh yeah, that's just getting the business.balance.getBalance from type building. That's fine. So it creates a vehicle slot. And then we need to do something along the lines of this. Text mesh pro, actually it's in the TM pro namespace. Text mesh pro UGUI TMP equals button dot get component in children TM pro dot text mesh pro UGUI. Okay, so we will grab that. We've got the listener added in, and then all we need to do is check to see if there's a vehicle in that slot, and if there is, we just put in the name of the vehicle. I mean, here's the thing, it's going to overflow. So, like, hypothetically, if we come in here, go into here, and we say, delivery vehicle. I mean, it's guaranteed to do that. That's probably fine for now. However, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode we will get that portion implemented and make sure that purchasing vehicles is actually working. See you all then.